Hello everybody, my name is Aaron Sloth and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to spot a fake job opportunity and how you can protect yourself. This scam email that I just got was very sneaky. It almost looked legit, at first glance, but once you kind of check a couple things, you can immediately tell that it's definitely a phishing attempt. And I'm going to be showing you guys how to identify these emails and how you can go through your own investigations to determine if an email is fake or not. So earlier today, I received an email about a job opportunity at careers-usap.com. And at first glance, I thought it was from US Anesthesia Partners, which is a real company, by the way, but something felt a little off. My first red flag was the domain name, careers-usap.com. The actual US Anesthesia Partners uses usap.com by itself. There's no careers dash. When you're dealing with a subdomain, you would actually see something like careers.usap.such-and-such.com. Now, when dealing with the actual careers page of usap.com, I'd imagine it would be usap.com/careers or /recruitment, something along those lines. It would be within the bounds of usap.com. You wouldn't see something like careers-usap.com. That's actually a completely separate domain, and a lot of these scammers love to set up impersonation domains or lookalike domains that make you think you're clicking on the actual thing, but you're really not. You'll see the same thing anytime you're dealing with Amazon scams or Facebook scams. You may see the initial URL facebook.com, but then there's a whole bunch of jibber jabber after the fact. So you may see facebook.com ABC234587, like a super long string of text that is meant to hide the actual domain that these scammers are trying to use to get you to click on their links. So essentially, some key points I'm trying to point out here are that real companies will typically email from their official domain, not something hyphenated, which in this case, the email came from careers-usap.com and not usap.com, which is the actual domain. And so here I have the email. So as we can see here, we've got opportunity for US Anesthesia Partners, remote systems admin. So they obviously have some information about me already from what I can tell. So this looks like a very targeted attack. It seems that, with all my job applications that I'm sending out, somebody is looking at me like, hey, I can make a quick buck off of this guy. Well, obviously not. So anyway, we can take a look here and see that he's using careers-usap.com, some random name, Darren. Um, Seems that like this person went through the trouble of registering this domain name and setting it up to look as legitimate as possible. So kudos on him. And yes, I just got this email. This isn't the first time I've seen a fake job email, and I'm like, I need to make a video on this. I really need to get some awareness out there so that people understand, hey, this is a very common scam that happens. So first off, we're going to do some intelligence gathering. So this guy says his name is Darren Hoover. He's a hiring specialist. Big whoop. However, he's got no contact phone number, no secondary email address that I can contact him at. There's absolutely nothing in his signature that points me to believe that this guy is a real person. Just like, for example, if I click reply to this email and I've got my own email signature here that says my job title and my cell phone number. I've also got a LinkedIn URL and my GitHub URL. So I have things in my email signature that point to me being a real human being, which most people do. Most people will have a contact phone number or maybe their contact office phone number or their contact cell phone number, something along those lines. And US Anesthesia Partners is a legitimate company. You can go to US Anesthesia Partners or usap.com and you can see that this is a legitimate website. These are real people. And we can click on locations. We see that North Texas does have a legitimate location. However, I have no idea if this address is really their actual address. We could just copy and paste this into Google and probably see it, which it probably is legit. But they've taken this USAP branding and applied it to his email signature. So this dude is trying really hard to look legit. However, if we just go into Google and punch in Darren Hoover, I have absolutely nothing that says Darren Hoover is with USAP. Darren Hoover just bring up, at least right now, it's just bringing up a bunch of veteran stuff. Even if we go further and type in Darren Hoover USAP, it just nothing but just Staff Sergeant Taylor, father of I don't know who, I have no idea who this guy is. But anyway, it's absolutely nothing to do with USAP. So then your next step can be to verify the domain. So let's take careers-usap.com and do a WHOIS. I love using this tool, whois.domaintools.com. And whenever I did a search for this domain, it says it's 1 day old. So this guy just made this domain and I'm his first target. I feel very honored. So here we can go through a lot of this information. It looks like this domain was registered with NameSilo, and we can go through all of this information. What we can actually do is we can report this domain to namesilo.com directly and let them know, hey, somebody's using this to impersonate a legitimate domain. They're using it for phishing attempts, and hopefully something will be done. And so as we can see, it was actually registered through, so with NameSilo, however, it was through this organization called Privacy Guardian, which is a way for this scammer to actually hide his actual information. Because whenever you register a domain name, you have to input your, name, your address, location, an admin email, something so that somebody can contact you in case something is wrong with your domain. I've actually registered a domain for my company, my business, and I have input my actual legitimate information, so I know what's supposed to be here. However, you can utilize services to hide all of your information if you care about your privacy. However, legitimate organizations, especially a large legitimate organization such as USAP, they're not going to hide their stuff behind privacy walls. Because if we do a quick, lookup of usap.com, we can see they are registered through GoDaddy. The date they've had this domain for 10,000 days. You can see their domain name is usap.com. They have all of their information here. So as we can see, Registrant Street, that 12222 Merritt Drive, Suite 700, Dallas, Texas. Is that what's here? Yeah, that's so this guy just went to USA. This guy did who is on usap.com, pulled all this information, grabbed a company brand and just threw it all in his email to me. So we know that this is not legit whatsoever. So the second step that we did was referred to as OSINT, or open source intelligence gathering. And so what we did is we did a quick OSINT on the actual legitimate usap.com, and we compared it to this fake usap.com. So something that you can do if you're ever faced with a situation, take a look at this list here. You can check the sender domain carefully, look for any misspellings, extra hyphens, or weird looking domains. Use WHOIS to see when the domain was registered. Compare the official company website with this lookalike domain, and watch for urgent language. Anything that says it's too good to be true or asking for any sensitive information up front. And also, if you're ever unsure, contact the real company directly through their verified website. So also another thing you can do, I know you can't see the URL down there at the bottom because my face is covering it up, but essentially if you just hover over the URL, we can see that this points to a Google Docs link, which shouldn't do anything bad if we click on it, but what we're going to do is we're going to copy the link, and we're going to be using this sandboxing tool called app.any.run. or really it's called AnyRun, but you just go to app.anyrun.com once you sign up to use it, and it's completely free. It's a awesome malware analysis tool, so you can submit files or emails. You can actually submit the URL directly. You can also just quickly check for suspicious links, but we're going to submit the URL, this Google Docs. We're going to select an operating system. I'm just going to select Windows 10 and then run a public analysis. And so you don't want to do anything that may be legit or something business oriented in any run, because you will be giving out very sensitive information, or you can. But since I don't care about this URL, I know that this is fake. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a public analysis, and then you can actually review public reports as well. I'm going to go and click on add time here whenever I can. Have as much fun with it as I want. So here we see, this is the Google Docs link, and we can also see any suspicious DNS requests going on in the background, any sort of connections being made, HTTP requests, pretty basic stuff. And it'll also show you if there's any legitimate threats. So if we were submitting a piece of malware for analysis, we would actually see it pop up as potential threats. And there's also some ATP attribution that you can also review here. So we can see the typical company brand. It's the same one that he put in his email signature. U.S. Anesthesia Partners Remote System Administrator pre-screening questions. And so it seems like he's taking a legitimate job summary for a remote systems admin. Typical key responsibilities: install, configure, maintain operating systems, servers, essentially. So, I mean, a basic system admin position. However, we're going to keep scrolling down. I've already kind of reviewed this. Pay is $78 per hour. There's no way in any there's just no way something as basic as a system admin, where they're only asking for the Server Plus certification or some Microsoft certifications. Just they don't even list out actual certifications besides the Server Plus. There's just no way that the Server Plus is going to make you $78 an hour. I can't stress that enough. It's absolute that's insane. So as we can see, it's auto translating it, or auto putting the information as German. So that kind of stands out to me, as we saw with checking out the domain here. It shows the IP location as Germany. So whoever set this up, they could be in Germany, or that's just how it was, you know, how it was created. But anyway, so we see email address, we have first and last name, currently employed, work schedule, are you comfortable with this? And then some basic, can you describe your experience? What steps would you troubleshoot? What monitoring tools have you used? So some basic system administrator questions. There's nothing that really stands out as, hey, this is a high level role. Hey, this is a level 3 engineering position. Something that actually would merit $78 per hour. And it also explains the day to day. Are you comfortable with this? IT projects, implement automation, best practices. I mean, this is all pretty standard stuff. However, I don't think companies are going to be using Google Docs for pre-screening questions. And if they are, application to actually do a set of pre-screening questions, or they don't use those high-end applications. Because I've seen some legitimate companies use Google Docs, however, 90% of the time they don't. So as I said, back on my list, anything that says anything that shows it's too good to be true, it most likely is. Don't take people for their word. If they say something that says, "Oh, this opportunity is going to be fantastic. It's going to earn you so much money," take it with a grain of salt. Throw up the red flag. It's okay. Take a second, ask questions, Anywho, that's pretty much it for my little investigation here. I've actually went ahead and reached out to Darren at careers-usap.com because I'm curious. I want to see what the continuation of their script looks like. Because the first time I got one of these scam emails, I actually responded to it intentionally, knowing that it was a scam, because I wanted to see their start to finish. What is it that they're going to do? What are they going to send me? what are their next steps? Because in knowing their full end-to-end process helps me to continue to identify scams, because sometimes scams don't start off this way. Sometimes scams start you off with, hey, we saw you applied to our position, we want to interview you, and then you go in for the interview and you find out, oh, this is a scam. So there's a lot of different ways that people can trick you into believing. And then also, knowing how to identify phishing emails is a great skill to have. Again, remote systems admin, legitimate. USAP, legitimate. The address, the physical address that they provide in their email signature, that's legitimate. However, Darren Hoover, a hiring specialist, not legitimate. Careers-usap.com, not legitimate. Using Google Docs, meh, 50-50, I'll say, but even still, I throw up the red flag there whenever somebody's using Google Docs. That's just their way of cheaping out on the actual process. However, they could have used a legitimate human being from USAP, probably by just going to LinkedIn and pulling up who are the hiring specialists, who are the acquisition specialists, who are the HR people at USAP, so that I can impersonate them. I could take their picture, put it in my email signature. I can take their LinkedIn URL, put that in my email signature. There are so many things that they could do to make this email a better fish. It's just they're lazy. And I could not be their only target. I could just be one of their targets. Obviously, anybody who's looking for system administrator positions, systems engineer positions, anybody can fall for scams like this, especially whenever they click that Google Docs link and see, oh, wow, this job is going to pay $80 an hour. I definitely want to make sure that I put my best foot forward and answer these questions to the best of my ability and make sure that they contact me. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to give them all my information. Yeah, that's just what they're trying to do. They're just trying to get information from you and hope that you fall for their scam. Because I think what the end goal here is that you go through their process, they interview you, they give you a fake job offer letter, which I've seen. I've seen fake job offer letters. I probably will do a video on that as well. And I think that their end hope is that you install their software on your machine and it ends up being a ransomware tool. And then now you are completely screwed, because now they have access to your home desktop and probably whatever information you've got on your home desktop, which could be your banking information, could be your tax return documents, could be very, very sensitive information for them to acquire. And now they have a complete copy of it. Even if you pay the ransom, there's no guarantee that they're actually going to delete your data. Most likely, they're going to keep it stored for safekeeping later on down the road, hit you up maybe a month from now and be like, hey, we still have your information. We want you to pay us $1,000 or else we're going to leak it. And it's, it's insane that these people target people, like me, who are actively seeking jobs in the job market. It's very unfortunate, but it's just the day and age that we live in. People get targeted all the time. People like me, companies get targeted. Anybody can be a target. If you have a computer connected to the internet, congratulations, you are a target. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this content, give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe as well for future content. If you have any questions, comments, or concern, leave them down in the comment section below. If you have faced a potential email threat, feel free to contact me and reach out. I'm actually starting my own little company where I provide some IT support, essentially. I'm hoping that this transitions into something greater, but as of now, that remains to be seen. So thank you all again so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.